You shut this loud ass heater off.
I've
How you been, man?
been great, dude. Um, it's been awesome thinking about this again. And um, this time around, there has been like no hassles with any of the guests. So I'm really pumped, man. Actually, and we are recording now. Okay. So in true matching to bring about style here, we're live.
Well,
Um,
hopefully my heater shuts off here in a sec, so that way it's not too loud for you.
I can't hear it. And you know it's funny.
Oh, that's
So
good.
by the way, everybody, welcome back to KCBC. No long intros this time. We're just going to start getting right into these conversations. So glad you all came back. Um, Gabriel, I've been getting caught up on your show. Yeah, Gabriel Garcia to bring about podcast back
I
on the
appreciate
show.
it.
And, I've been getting caught up. And it's funny how the furnace, when the furnace kicks on on
Yeah,
your show,
I
how
know. It sounds like
you
you're in
mentioned
like
it.
a
It's
turbine.
funny. It's funny because I don't
Yeah,
know that I've ever heard it. Maybe I heard it one time when it came on, and then I heard you say, "Oh, let me get the furnace real quick," or "Let's wait for the
yeah,
furnace to shut off." But first off, I just wanted to reflect with you real quick before we just talk about whatever we talk about today. Um, Last time I had you on the show, brother, it was like episode 40. It was January 15th, 2025. A lot of good things have happened in that amount of time. Focusing on the good, and I think especially for you and I, right? I last time we talked, it was really like your first time on the show. I had been on to bring about, before that, and you had Bear and I back on last October. That was a great conversation, and
we
we've
need to
gotten
do
to
it
hang
again.
out. What's that? Oh yeah, we will absolutely, man. Um, and I don't know if you ever realized this. We might have talked about it, but our last conversation on this show, we made a reel called Virtual Campfire and said having these conversations is a lot like having a campfire and just talking about it. And I think your show is probably one of the strongest examples of that in our
I appreciate
region
that.
and of all the podcasts that I listen to. I heard you tell Gabby the other day on one of you're doing a new series with 911. It's Gabby, right? And
Yeah,
you
yeah,
said, you know why I do this, Gabby? She was talking about editing or something. And you said, do you know why I do this? Because there's people out there in soul sucking jobs and all they really want is to just listen to people talk. And you said something to the effect of like, I was that person. And so, yeah, I don't edit my episodes and we just talk about whatever we talk about. But that virtual campfire reel, Dominique from Indelibly Marked, that's how he found us, was through that reel.
really.
And started following us. Yeah, I talked to him about this, right? And that's when he started following us. And at first, I think he thought that KCBC was your podcast because we had the collaboration thing and we talked about it. And
Yeah,
uh, that has been a partnership, a relationship that's been amazing. You went on the show, told your story. For our first time listeners hearing Gabriel, his story, check out To Bring About, obviously. Check out his episodes that he's done with Black Magic TV, Ozone Layer, Indelibly Marked. My episode with Indelibly Marked, like we've had a really good run in the last year as far as connecting with other people in our community, in our space. You have had consistently some amazing conversations and guests, brother, like people with heart-wrenching stories, and people with just businesses that they run. And you've even had people with opposing political views come on the show at the same time. And last thing I'll say, because I've been chatty Cathy so far, is to bring about, just so everybody knows, in my Spotify Wrapped was my third most listened to podcast, third to
hey,
Joe Rogan, Sean Ryan, and then To Bring About. And I
hey,
shared
I
that with you
appreciate
too,
that.
brother. So it has
Yeah,
been so awesome just to listen to those conversations. And I just appreciate you, dude. I know too, the last person in the world that's going to put their hands up and celebrate is going to be you, right?
yeah.
Because you're so humble with this stuff, bro. So I know that as a brother in your life, it's up to me too to speak that into you, man, and just to
Mhm.
encourage you, because what you're doing is amazing. And
Yeah,
that target in the background, that's from our range trip recently, right?
yeah, yeah. It was. I hung it up, man. I need to
It
get you
was
guys to come
awesome.
sign it. We were trying to sign it with like a key, kind of scratch it in there, but
Yeah.
it was a fail.
Yeah, man, that was good times. So yeah, we've
Yeah.
we've had a lot of great moments in the last year, man. You're
No, but
approaching. Oh, go ahead,
yeah, if you don't mind, man, I'd just like
please.
to say that I appreciate all the kind words. I really do. Um, I think when it comes to, podcasting here in Kansas City, it's been a beautiful thing to see transition over the years. To see some of these people that, started around the same time as like when I had Purple Pill, prior to bring about podcast. Um, I mean, gosh, that was 2021, 2022, something around there. And just to look at now in 2026 and, you know, see, a couple of them that, started around the same time and how well they're doing and they continue to develop. And you named, a lot of them, the Big Mod, the I-70 show,
Yeah,
your show's been around. It's awesome to see, these people continue to perfect something they enjoy, and that's conversation. I mean, it goes back to the dawn of time. Like we said with the whole campfire clip and
yeah,
how connected you feel with one another, and it is weird if you think about it because it's now over a phone or over a computer, but I mean, it's like, what? Don't do it at all because times have changed, or should we adapt? And that's always been my philosophy. And, not everything that I see in the world do I like, but I mean, nobody has throughout history. Nobody's wanted exactly how history unraveled. And so my nature is just to kind of adapt to the changes and make the best of it as we can. We don't have a long life. I mean, you don't know when you're going to die. And so what's the point of moping around and talking about, oh, I loved how it used to be, and instead just, you know, find a way to enjoy what you have in front of you. And but yeah, and Delby Mark, those guys have been great. I've always enjoyed their content. I mean,
yeah,
all of you guys have something that one ups the other. You know what I mean? Whether it be your conversation skills, whether it be, how much money you invest in your equipment or your audio or your studio, everybody has something. And at the end of the day, it doesn't make us more better than one another. I think we all have our lanes, and I'm just excited to see a lot of these lanes start to meet up with each other. I mean, it fills my heart to see, not to be corny or anything, but I mean, this is a passion of mine. This is something I love. So when I see the people that come on the show and then I see them on other shows, I'm ecstatic. I want this for my area. I want people to come together, and I want people to be able to have a network of people that they can bounce ideas off of, and maybe get a little help when you're stuck. We've all been there. What cameras are you using? How'd you set them up,
yeah,
or what mics? And
yep,
what can I do to kind of improve the quality of my show, to where people actually don't mind leaving it on in the background or in an earbud. Um,
yeah,
and so it's just been amazing to see, especially from the start when I started this and to now see people, going on other shows, and I'll hear my podcast name being thrown out there, as like, either the first podcast they did, or oh, I was on this podcast, and he's an all right guy, and it's just it's cool, man. I think it's something that, people may look at and think, oh God, everybody has one, and it's saturated, or it's corny or whatever. You can think that all you want, but the motto I've always gone on is in my life, and I like to remind myself is not to basically not to beg for others' attention, and more of find the people that enjoy the same things as you. Going back to,
absolutely.
we don't have much time, why waste it begging others? And that comes from me, not always having that mindset of being an individual that has kind of been on a roller coaster ride throughout his life of different mental phases. And I was at one time a people pleaser and trying to get people to understand what I'm trying to do, try to get people to um like enjoy what it is, like my presence, and
Mhm.
with this it's been great because I don't have to go anywhere. I can just go in my basement and I know a guest's going to show up at 6:30 and boom, we're off and talking, and
Yeah.
uh
It's such
some
a
of the
great vibe
conversation
that you've
yeah, some of
created
the
on that show,
conversations
man.
I've yeah, some of the conversations I've looked back at, and here and there, I'll kind of go to an old clip, which I actually need to do more of, to be honest, because I don't.
Yeah.
Um, I need to go back and kind of reflect a little bit. It's almost that, you know, be careful of the chase, 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 and take time to sit back and reflect and enjoy the accomplishments and enjoy the beautiful moments. Because in the end, this is what it was all for. Once you start to push for business, business, money, money, I want to leave my job so I can do this forever. It's like, to me, I respect the grind, but be careful because, you know, um, you could find out that, oh man, I actually enjoyed this more when it was fun and it was relaxing and it was something that was more of a hobby, kind of like the old, uh, stop wishing to be rich so much because even that rich guy driving down the street in his Ferrari may want to wrap it around a pole, around the corner. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yep.
So, um, but yeah, man, I appreciate the kind words you've given me. I've always enjoyed your show. You're a fantastic conversationalist, man. Like it, the way
Thank you,
you
brother.
talk with people, man. I mean, I've talked to others, either at jobs I've worked at or people that I know, and I've just always admired the way that you can walk into a room and you can lead. You know what I mean? And
Appreciate you,
that's
brother.
something that a lot of people can't do, man. And I think it's awesome. I'm glad that you're back doing your show.
I appreciate you, man. And God, just hearing you reflect on that, you kind of answered something that I was wanting to talk to you about today. But your 100th episode's going to happen on Monday, and that is a huge accomplishment. And um, I want you to know too. I just appreciate you, Tyler, John, Brad, Dominique, a lot of my who I consider the trusted advisors in my life, and you all earned that spot, right? I don't want to make it sound like I'm a you know, but like I'm some big deal or whatever, and like people have to earn my respect. But
Mhm.
truly, going from being a guy who was really never wanted to really do this or do social media and stuff, like you guys have made me feel not only safe but inspired, and every time, you or Bear or John or whomever said, "Hey, when you coming back, man?" It was always like I would answer you guys and I'd say, I don't know if I'm going to come back.
Yeah.
My last episode was in June of last year. Firing back up all the equipment was kind of weird and surreal recently, but I realized that you are an example of why I started this. These people I've had on my show, I went down memory lane. I looked back and I looked at conversations, and I was actually in tears one day when I was doing that, because I was like, man, this was that person's first podcast that they had ever come on, and just the power that this has to literally transform lives, right? And I something I meant to I want to ask you, and so just so everybody knows too, right? Like our new format, we do these hour-long episodes. I'm doing that intentionally because there are people that I'm going to have back on, and then back on again, and then back on again. Gabriel, you are one of those people, right?
Yeah, I
So
appreciate
I
it.
have all kinds of stuff I want to talk to you about, but I think, when you and I were texting about this episode, I wanted to focus on how this has not necessarily changed you, but grown your community, grown your influence, your confidence as a man, your confidence with your family, um, your confidence in the things you love, like jujitsu, right? and
Mhm.
motorcycles and your hobbies. And, um, you know, it is, it's funny because who you are today is not who you were last year or the year before that. Right. And I'm not saying that like personally, but we have gotten older, I believe a lot wiser in the last 2 years. And our circle has grown, and not at such a rapid pace, but at an organic pace, right? We've met our people. I love how you said, I stopped trying to please people, and I just figured I would find the right people by doing what I love, and that's happened. So I throw out all those strings, and my questions. I will ask 4 or 5 questions and pretend like I asked you one question. But when I bring those things up, brother, like um, what what speaks to you the most about just building this community and who you are as a man today by doing this?
What speaks to me the most? I mean, it's kind of like what I explained earlier, man. It's just, I think it's just I have this thing where I like to meet new people, like I think I've talked about this on plenty of shows. Um, when I walk past people, I see stories. I always have for a long time, I've caught myself, I'm a people watcher, it's kind of a good thing, but then also you come off kind of as a creep too, when you're just kind of
You
just,
use your powers for good, bro. I know you
yes,
do.
yes, I promise, I
You're
promise.
responsible with it.
Yeah. But I'll just be looking at somebody, man, and just kind of like wondering like how did they get from point A to point B, from birth to where they're at now, and all the things that they probably had to go through and endure, and probably a lot of the similar situations I've gone through, and yet we've never had a conversation before. We were sitting on opposite sides of the room, and you know, and honestly, the sad part is if we only had a brief glimpse, we would judge. And in that, with this podcast, it's shown that I can have people from all walks of life. It can show that I can have people on here with completely different differences. Like you can tell, look at my social media. I'm in the meme war. Everybody knows this. I've been in it for years. Okay. Um, I look at these people I have on and their social medias, and I mean, we're on completely opposite sides of the universe in my mind, and yet I can have them on here, and we can talk, and we can find common ground, and we can find similarities. And the sad part is you don't see that a lot of the times in real life, especially when big groups get together. And I've noticed that you uh when you take people away from that influence, from those groups, from those echo chambers, it's just it's so much simpler, so much more relatability, so much more commonality that you find in one another, and almost to where you guys could go and literally hang out for a day, and go and have a coffee or have a bite to eat. And but you would have never have known that if you were standing on one side of the street and they were standing on the other side of the street, and you guys are both yelling at each other, for no reason at all. And so I just I don't know, man. I think that's been the biggest thing that spoke to me. And I think I talk about the most is that it's just so cool, to be able to have that, to be able to show that to people, and to be able to talk about it. And uh, I think it's something very underrated, and I think needs to be looked at a lot more, because kind of the world we're going in, and not only whether it be political, just indifferences all around. Like we find these things and we want to separate from one another, and it's crazy in my mind, because like I've had people on here that we think completely different, um, but yet we're cool, and I'd go have a coffee with them and I'd talk with them, because we may have similarities in a handful of things that actually give life to us, you know, and it's not so soul sucking. You know, a lot of the stuff we
Absolutely.
fight about is just so soul sucking, so unnecessary. Um,
Yeah. Problems we can't
it's
solve.
yeah, problems we can't solve or problems that shouldn't even exist that people create in order to control and in order to divide and on our dime, and it's very unfortunate. And so it's just stuff like that, man. Just getting back to the basics of like getting to know your neighbor, and that's the biggest thing with this show that's stuck out to me the most is that I feel like I've accomplished that, and I
You
hope
have
that anybody that's ever been on
100%.
here, anybody who's ever been on here, I hope they see and understand me now, and if they don't, always feel free to reach out, but don't don't just go based off of my social media. Trust me, you don't know 80% of my life. Okay. Like I know me, Michael.
I
I'm a
do.
very reserved, I show a lot of stuff like fun things that I do for sure. I want people to have relatability. I want to motivate people to go out and, ride motorcycles or do jujitsu or start a podcast or,
Have
what,
chickens.
yeah, have chickens, man. Uh, uh, Learn how to
I loved
homestead,
that the other day, bro. You posted you in your chicken coop. That's
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
cool.
dude, I was out there. I was getting them ready for the winter this year and
Yeah.
it took me a while to kind of get used to that. Like if you ask anybody that knew me in my 20s, oh my God, I fucking hated pictures, man. I hated it. I was just uh, take in the moment. Take it in. You don't have to be like this. And uh, but now that I'm getting older, I don't think you should constantly, like one of those people at a concert, just like, you know what I
Oh,
mean? Watching it
yeah,
through a
brother.
lens, and
Oh my gosh.
that's insane. Like I trust me, I know a person that documents their entire freaking life, and it's insane. But I think you should capture moments, and daily is fine. But that's one thing I had to learn, and it's really man, dude, like I have a 15 terabyte external hard drive, and you know, the amount of just beautiful moments on there, and even maybe cringy moments from the podcast or moments from the podcast. I made a mistake and I gave incorrect information, and then was able to, update my viewpoint on that. And after maybe some people have reached out, it's just the learning,
Yeah.
the conversation, the Kodak moments. It's been really great,
Yeah.
man. It really has. And but yeah, I'm sorry for such a long-winded answer there. You know how I am, but but yeah,
I
no,
love it,
that's
bro.
really
It's
what stuck
great.
out to me the most, man. And
Yeah.
um, it's just it's the guess. It always has been the guess. And, you know, I know people, they may think it's for me, but it's not. Like, I've never been a person to be in front of a camera. Always never liked the way I look, always never liked the way I sounded, a ton of things.
Feel it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And, it's just, I've gotten over that. And having the people on that have, been kind enough to give me a shot, and to sit down with me and to be able to capture their story or what it is they're doing, they've helped me overcome that. They've helped me um, grow, and with that growth comes um, a sense of peace, a sense of meaning, a sense of confidence, and it's been great, man. So far,
Yeah.
and
You've gotten a lot of reps in
yeah,
on camera,
yeah,
and it's all out there on the internet, and that we both know how much courage that takes. It takes boatloads of courage to
yeah,
record your conversations, get through the cringe, and then keep it out there. And another reason I have to tell you why I'm not going to be doing much editing, if any at all, on the show
hmm
moving forward was because of conversations I had with you and Bear, and encouraging me like, bro, don't edit yourself. Don't edit. don't edit stuff. Bear didn't tell me this directly, but I felt this is what I took from the lesson after he came on my show that first time. This is before he was on to bring about, and then when him and I came back, but it was almost a disservice to him as a guest for me to edit myself, right? And I think there's a deeper lesson there too in life. As a parent or as a leader, and everybody in every job, it's like you're a leader. Like, I don't care if you're a janitor or a housekeeper or a front desk assistant, um, or a clerk at Hy-Vee. Like, you're leading something. You're leading somebody. If not just by virtue of your example, but um, there's a deep lesson about editing ourselves. And I hear you too. Like, I would never claim like body dysmorphia as a legit diagnosis for me, but like no matter how fit I've gotten, and you know my story, I lost 135 pounds, bro. Like, I was pre-diabetic, I was all that, but I still, bro, I still look, I look, I got a weird thing about my face when I look at my face in the mirror, and like how, I mean, I'll
I
just
think
confess it here. I always have to be on the left side when I take group shots or in the middle. It's
yeah,
bro,
yeah.
we all
Hey,
got
we
our
all do it.
ticks.
We all do it,
We
Michael.
all got
We
our
all do.
ticks, bro. And there's a deep lesson about just not giving a shit about that, really, or at least giving less of a shit today than I did yesterday or last year. And you're so right about the growth that happens. It's good growth. It is good growth, bro. And we're, in many ways, I know part of this podcast, I would never say it overtly or in my message because it wouldn't be a very good tagline to attract listeners. But I'm working out trauma through this podcast, man. Like, I've I've got stuff that, like, you know, I talked to counselors about years ago, and then you know, my wife and I being married 22 years, being high school sweethearts, growing up together, I got all kinds of baggage, bro. I carry all of that. And I know too. I know when I'm the problem in a relationship, you know, or I'm the problem at work, or I'm the problem with in the situation with my kids. I'm trying to raise my daughters, you know, and I know when I'm I'm very self-aware. Um
Mm.
I'm self-aware, and sometimes because I'm so self-aware, I allowed that in the past to really edit the way I live. And I don't allow it to edit the way I live much anymore, right? And I have realized that too. And here's another thing. More kudos to you, bro. I'm just gonna be giving you flowers this whole
Well,
freaking episode. But
don't give
when
me
we
too many
talk about,
flowers. You're gonna freak me out.
yeah, I know, dog. I know. Well, yeah. Well, we got enough jokes about jujitsu being gay and all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? But you and I talked about that, about how, you know, I'd been out of jujitsu for 2 years, you know,
Mm.
and I got back. I'm at TMC now. Obviously, everyone who follows the show and has stayed sees it in the stories. Every time I train, everybody got to know about it. But I asked Stephanie last night, bro. Like, literally, I said something about, we were watching some reel that came up in our YouTube feed, and had nothing to do with jujitsu, of course. But I said, that guy needs jujitsu. And she just
Mm.
busts up laughing. And I was like, I know I keep saying that. And when I have Bear on the show, I know the whole thing's going to be about jujitsu because we know how much Bear loves jujitsu. But I said, let
Yeah,
me
he might
ask
love
you.
jujitsu more than me and you
I think he does.
with his stories.
I think he does, bro. He came back. I'll take a little segue here. Security Today is back. And in his first announcement, he goes, I was showing this to my buddies at lunch the other day who know Bear. And I said, look at this. And he's like, I've started jujitsu so I could choke you, except people who do jujitsu because they're harder to choke. But the common man, you know, he's got to remind everybody, the common man, you know. But I asked my wife, like, getting back to that, right? I said, let me ask you this. Have you noticed a change in me since I started jujitsu 6 months ago? She goes, oh yeah, absolutely. I said, just, I don't want to ask, you don't have to name everything. Can you just name one thing? And she just said, you're just so much more calm and patient.
Yeah. No, that's the biggest thing I think with jujitsu, man. I mean,
It is,
and
dude.
and shout out to Bear too, man. I mean, I that
Yeah.
guy's podcast, man, like, go check it out. Like,
So good, dude.
like the tech world. Oh my God, dude. Like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about half the time, but I admire whatever it is you're doing over there because it sounds insane. All right. When he
Well,
puts up
he's
like
good too.
these,
He'll make little bite-sized chunks that my lizard brain can
mhm,
get. Like he did the
yeah.
thing about Gmail integrating AI the other day.
Hmm.
And then I was
No,
sending,
he does a good job converting, like translating over to the lower IQ individuals like myself. Yeah, he does a
but yeah,
great job on that.
that was something you called yourself in a recent episode. You said you were the low IQ whisperer.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, somebody's got to do
Hey,
it.
somebody's got to do it, bro. Hey,
Yeah,
that's your role, bro. I love it.
yeah. But no, the way
But
he does it, man, like he's great, but at the same time, like you'll see him and another tech guy, nerding out and going crazy, and it's like, oh my god, like I didn't. What are you guys talking about here? He'll like put videos up of like circuit boards and stuff, and I'm like, who has that? Where is that at? Is that in your garage?
what?
Like,
Yeah, what is that even? Like he'll be
yeah,
in
what
a
does that even
building.
do?
And it's this whole panel and you're like,
Yeah,
what does that even control, you know?
right,
And
right.
they're talking about how the wiring is shitty.
I'm like, which wire?
Well, yeah, well,
There's like 1,000 of them on there.
yeah, man. It's I mean, wow, just what another example too of
Yeah,
how we've built a relationship there.
yeah,
um you know, I wanted to ask you too because you've competed recently, and when I see your feed and what you're up to, it's like I know you're full time. You just got this new role. You're thriving in it, which is awesome. But you're also, yeah, you're raising kids. You
mhm.
are doing jujitsu, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you train like 2 days or more if you can per week. Is that right?
Yeah, so I train at Healy and Gracie, um,
Right.
over in Gladstone,
But you compete.
and
That's
but
what I'm getting at is you compete and you actually won a couple of
yeah,
tournaments recently,
yeah.
right?
Well,
So
it's kind of crazy because I didn't even train much for that competition. If you ask anybody at
that's
my gym,
thank you for
I mean,
saying it.
even
That's what I'm getting at, dog.
yeah, even my own coach texted me. He was like, "Hey," he was like, "You ever gonna train for this fucking competition?" And I was like, "I have been like onesie twosies. Usually, what I've been doing for like the last 6 months is, I've had lower back injuries that are just getting excessive, and because I used to roll like a freaking idiot, and well, yeah, I was being an idiot, but I do love it though. Like just being the spaz, being the guy that's like, getting all wild and just duking it out, man. Just and scrapping. But I'm trying to figure out how to roll a little smarter, a little more slower tempo, uh, more skill set to prevent these injuries. Utilizing more technique instead of trying to just over muscle and I was overworking myself a lot too. You know what I mean? I was working out a lot and jujitsu 3, 4 times a week. So once I cut it back, um, it's been nice, man. It's been nice to be able to sit in a chair and not be in agony or,
Mm,
bend over to grab something and all of a sudden your back just completely opens up and boom, you're laying down on the floor trying to do some cobra poses to get it back in place. And so
yeah.
that's been nice. But yeah, man, I had a great time at the tournament, and I knew it was kind of a gamble. It was actually my first blue belt tournament that I did. Done a
Wow.
bunch of white belt ones. This one
And you're
actually,
blue two stripe, right? Or blue one stripe?
yeah, yeah, I've just got 2 stripes. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So
Um,
this is the first
may
blue tournament.
Yeah, I may have advanced a little faster if I would have stuck to the pace I was going to, because I've got a couple of buddies of mine. My buddy Logan, man, he's a badass. He's also like 23 years old. Can train 6 times a week. So
I
just
trained
different
with a guy
paths.
yesterday for the
Yeah.
first time who's like that, and he was such a problem, bro.
Mhm.
Because I'm trying to roll slow, and he's just
Yeah.
he was throwing me down, dog. I was
Yeah.
fighting for my life. So
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So yeah,
Hey,
you got
sometimes that's what you got to do, man. I mean, where are you
yeah
at now? Your white belt with how many stripes?
a 3 stripes. So
3 stripes?
hopefully I'll get to
Yeah.
blue at the
Yeah.
end of this year or next.
Yeah. Just enjoy the ride, man. Don't expect
Yeah,
anything. Belts don't mean shit anyways. You can go
right.
on a mat, go to an open mat. You know, it's not
That's
going to
what I've been
matter.
doing on
You know,
Fridays, actually. And I got to tell you, like,
yeah.
I know Friday noon is a bad time for everybody,
Hmm.
but there are a lot of guys our age, right? Well, our age. I think I'm like 10 years older than you, bro. So no
Hey, we're
offense,
close.
but as you're looking to roll slower and more methodical, like there's a guy in particular, Mike, shout Mike. He is 56 and he's got his black, and he is a master of pressure and leverage. And the things that
Nice.
I have learned from this dude, and bro, I now feel safe enough where I can roll hard with him. And I started rolling hard. And even when I was doing that, he was just pulling me down like the undertow, man. And he was showing me some stuff with just
Yeah.
how to apply nasty pressure and how to
Yeah.
relieve pressure. And so I've been trying to find these older guys because, yeah, I don't want to get hurt, and
Yeah.
I'm doing three
I don't
days a
blame you.
week. And even that is a lot,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to 4 or 5, but going
Yeah.
back to you,
I think,
bro. Yeah.
I think 4 or 5 is a lot. Um, if you can do it, go for it. But I always tell people to be cautious. You know, I've been doing jujitsu now total, I want to say 4 years almost, something around there. I think I've said this on the last podcast. Used to train back in the day at 10 Planet, which is still another gym of mine that I go to. I haven't been there in a while. I need to get my ass up there. Love those guys. My gym at Helion's awesome. 10 Planets, fucking great. Jeremy, Blake, all them up there. Noe, James,
I've met
everybody
Noe,
up
dude.
there.
I got to roll with Noe. He was very
Yeah,
kind to me,
yeah. Noe's a badass.
very
Yeah.
easy on me. I had known him from your socials, and when you sent me that picture of you and him sparring, I remember that moment. But yeah,
Mhm.
Noe's a good
Yeah.
dude, man.
When I first met Noe was a blue belt, I want to say, when I first met him, and James was a blue belt as well. And just to see James as a black
Yeah.
belt now, and
Shout out
Noe
James.
is a black belt. I mean, it's crazy now, man. It's crazy to think back and then see how much they've progressed. And even James or Noe, people think the 10 Planet guys, they don't know how to roll in a gi. Well, go roll with Noe, okay? Because he bow and arrow
Did.
choked me not too long ago.
I did. It sucked for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So don't get it twisted, man. Those guys will. Ask James if he'll throw on a gi. He probably will tell you, yeah. And he's probably never had one on ever. So, um,
Wow.
but but yeah, no, they're great guys, man. All the gyms are great, man. I train out alive a lot, and not necessarily train.
I
Sometimes,
Cause and
yeah,
Brett and all those guys from my place were there a couple Sundays ago. They do open
yeah.
mats on Sundays, right?
Sundays is popping. I'm there a lot of the Sundays. Not all of them, but I try to get out there when I can. But it's usually my spot, man, for open mat. There's just so much talent down there. You've got a mixture of older guys, you got a mixture of younger guys. You
Is it
got
gi and no gi, or is it only no gi on
no
Sundays?
open mats, whatever. Yeah,
Okay.
you can do
I'll
whatever
get
you
down
want
there
there.
with you soon because
Mhm.
Sundays seem to be a good day for us to get out there.
Yeah,
And plus
yeah.
I've seen so much of them. I think I follow them. If not, I'll follow them after this.
Mhm.
Sorry, you've been
Yeah,
doing open mats at
it's
Alive.
usually at 11 a.m. It's
Okay.
just
That's
cool, man,
perfect.
because you can see all the gyms. Like a lot of the guys that that are about it, they're there, and it's
Yeah.
just they've got good space, good vibes, being downtown. It's pretty neat. And everyone down there's super cool. Justin, really cool guy. He owns the
Is he
gym.
the one who runs it? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And he actually just competed in the tournament that I was just in. He
That
made it
was the
pretty
Fuji
far
one,
in.
right?
Yeah, he made it pretty far in that absolute division. Um, I don't know what place he got to, but he got a lot further than me. I got fucking demolished on my first round on the absolute division. So
So
I
you
went up
did
against a
golden elite, double golden elite, and then you went up to absolute. Is that how it works?
yeah. So I did gi elite and I did no gi elite, which I don't really know what made the difference between that other than the open weight class for the elite division. Usually
Okay.
what I have to do is I compete over, I think it's like 210 and I got to stay under 215 or something like that for Fuji.
Okay.
I haven't competed at that place in a long time. I think 2023 was the last time I competed there and I got wrecked. That was actually my first tournament. lost by points, I think, on all my matches.
Mm.
And I went to the ultra heavyweight division too, which probably wasn't the greatest idea. I mean, they're not too much bigger than me, but they're big enough to make a difference.
Every pound counts, man.
Yeah, you ain't lying. When you got 20 extra pounds, 30 extra pounds on you, and I'm already 215, so
That's
and
a
they're like
lot,
six
bro.
four. So
Big dudes who do jujitsu are very dangerous as well. Like,
oh, very, man. Just
it's
the leverage they have just on the weight,
big time.
and be able to throw you around. The
Yeah.
jujitsu works, but to a point.
Yeah, that
If you're
that's a
100
myth,
and
everybody. Yeah,
yeah, if you're
it's not the
150
gentle
pounds,
art. Yeah, it's
yeah.
not the gentle art, and you know what? Yeah, size and strength actually do matter. Okay.
Oh, very much, very much. It annoys me when people say that it doesn't. I understand the concept of learning the technique. I'm all for that, but let's not act like you shouldn't go be weightlifting as well. Because some of these guys will
Absolutely.
think that I can get all my stuff I need in jujitsu. No, you can't.
Yeah,
So,
the get in shape by doing jujitsu. I mean, that's another one. And I'll just say recently too, the one thing that and maybe you can challenge me on this, but the one
yeah.
thing that I think I can't get outside of jujitsu that I can only do in jujitsu is my cardio. And I say from personal experience because when I did that 14er in Colorado back in June, my cardio was amazing. I was doing 30% incline at Beastified because they were the only place that had 30% incline treadmills. Most go up to 15. I was doing that. I could do that for like 2 hours with my heart rate up to like 150, 140, and
Really?
I would meter it. But my cardio was amazing. And then I went to TMC and I do 3 5-minute rolls, and bro, and there's a psychological thing with me too, and my airway, I think I told you I had the tongue tie surgery and all that stuff recently, so I literally have some physical things that I have to overcome, and I think some of it's mental, but the
Hmm.
cardio, now that I've done 3 days a week for the last 3 weeks, I am actually getting better.
Hmm.
So I don't know, but I submit that to you, man. Like, what do you think about cardio in jiu-jitsu? I know
Oh
we just kind of took a little path there, but
no, yeah, that's
yeah.
what I believe in cardio 100%. That's usually what I recommend to people, especially like at my weight. A lot of the guys are out of shape.
Mm,
If you can burn them down and wear them out,
that's right.
um, then you start to dictate the pace. You
Yeah.
dictate. And yeah, I recommend it for anybody. Roll with lighter guys. Like guys that are like 165, 175. Like they'll keep you on their toes, man, because those guys are still big enough to kind of move you around, and at the same time, they just don't wear down. A lot of the time. So
Right.
cardio's
A lot of
king.
them
It
are
always has been.
freakishly flexible too.
Oh
We
yeah,
got a
yeah,
we
yeah.
got a guy named Mike, dude. He's not the same Mike I was talking about earlier, but it's like almost disgusting how flexible. He's like
Hmm.
Mr. Fantastic, basically.
Yeah. No, yeah. What I recommend for people on cardio wise, I've always had really good cardio. That's one thing I've always tried to target. Um,
How'd you
Cardio in the
build that?
gym, huh?
How'd you build your cardio?
So usually what I do is interval training. So I'll
Okay.
do 30-30s, and you can do it on the elliptical or the treadmill. It doesn't
What's
matter.
30-30?
30 seconds hard, 30 seconds at a decent pace.
Okay.
And you do that for like 15, 20 minutes. And it kind of gets that rhythm of stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, which happens
Yeah.
frequently in jujitsu. When you're a first off, like, 5 days into jujitsu white belt, you're just going to be explosive the entire time. And over time, you'll start to learn that you're gonna burn yourself out if you don't dial in that momentum. And what I mean by that is like there's certain times where you can be explosive and exert that energy. But if you're in a position that you can kind of camp out at to be able to see, if an opening occurs either on his side, him moving, or by you being able to inch out and get a knee shield in, get a frame, or whatever it may be, and then turning that gear up to 10. That's the way to go instead of at like a new white belt where it's just like 10 the entire round and they're just letting you playing with you and then you're burnt out and now it's time for them to work. And
Mm,
So I think that interval training kind of shows that, you know what I mean,
I
that
love that.
back and forth. So
I'm gonna apply
that's
that, man. That's what I'm gonna
yeah,
be doing in the
that's
gym.
been something, and it's easy. You can do it. I personally do it after a workout. And I don't do it all the time, you know what I mean? Like this stretch right now, I've been doing just a 15-minute walk after I work out on an incline of, I think it's the highest that Planet Fitness goes. It's like 10 or 50. I think it goes up to 15, but I only go to
Most
10%
likely it's
incline.
15. That's what most
Yeah.
treadmills at the gyms will do.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I do that just to kind of help burn some calories at the end because I've been trying to bulk up a little bit, which, you know, I've kind of gained some weight and you know, I was trying to get, you know, a little more size on me. And so I've been trying to watch too much of the cardio. It's a
Right.
balance, it's a science, man. It's just
It is.
the health, those individuals, and I think this is why I have so many like health people on. You know, I'm not trying to imitate or I'm not trying to take, you know, from what's popular. I truly believe in it. Like you have one body, you have one life, take care of it the best you can. I'm not like a health nut. Like I still like to go out and live life and have fun and but I understand moderation. We've talked about the 80-20 rule that, you know, I've gotten from Mitchell Thompson. And it's it's just it's something that, like, I think everybody needs to incorporate, and if you start following these individuals and learning from them, and because there's so much information out there,
Yeah,
you
it's
can
hard to
see the
distill it.
results. Yeah, you can see them in you. I think
Yep.
that's the coolest thing. It takes time. Like, don't expect it in 3 months like everybody else does when January 1st hits, but, just know that over time, you know, you will start to see the benefits and, you know, with that, but you have to find a reason. And I've found, and this is why I harp so much about jujitsu, is because I finally found something that gave me reason to work out, that gave me reason to eat healthier, that gave me reason to do all these things that benefit me in jujitsu. They all play a hand with one another. And it, you know, I think you need that. I find that first. And I think everything else will start to go in place and give it time. We're so impatient. I get it. I'm super impatient. If anybody knows me out there that's watching, that's known me for a long time, they're like, Gabriel, you're fucking impatient. I am, but I'm getting better and better
You are,
and
brother.
better. You know, if you look at me at 21, you look at me at 34, I mean, god damn, there's a completely difference, you know, to who I
Yeah.
was. But yeah, man, I mean, it's just get out there and try it. You don't even have to try jujitsu. Go to a Muay Thai class. They got that low kick place down in the West Bottoms. They got plenty of MMA gyms, Ignite up, you know, in Glatz, Italy,
Kickboxing.
Marathon. Yeah, go do something. It don't
Yeah.
matter, you know, go row. I don't know. You know, find something that you like and then all of a sudden you'll see once you find that purpose, you know, it'll start you could find purpose in like other things too, like fishing or podcast, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But the purpose I'm discussing is the purpose to make yourself healthier. And you have to start. And the only way to start is to finally stop procrastinating and putting it off to
Yeah.
Monday or putting it off till the first of the year and just walk in and sign up. Also,
Yeah.
another
Well,
biggest thing too. I'm sorry, hold on. Let me get this out.
yeah,
The
I
biggest thing,
go ahead and
yeah,
I'm gonna get you a point here.
yeah. The biggest thing that drives me nuts. Everybody wants to do it with somebody. Like, I get that. It's easier. I totally get that. Community is a beautiful thing. We harp on it a lot. We want to create a community here in podcasting in the health sector. Me and Mitchell talk about, you know, the good things he's doing at Combat Cardio and creating a community for people. But you can't rely on that. In the end, it's going to be you. Whether that person's going to be sick one day, whether that person's going to move away, whether that person's what they're not going to be there. You have to rely on yourself. So just rip the fucking band-aid off, walk into that gym, sign up for the membership, and just do it day after day after day. And don't worry about the results. Just keep, just this is my life. I have to brush my teeth. I have to work out. That's it.
Yeah.
If you lose a week, if 1 week you're just in a rut, you got work, you got kids, you got whatever it is, that's fine. Next week's a whole new week, or the next day's a whole new day. Like
Absolutely.
you have to remind yourself. I remind myself of that all the time. I literally did not work out at all this week,
Right.
but I told myself, I'm like, dude, we're not going to do this, Gabriel. Okay, you went a whole week. I understand you had a lot of work. You've been working till 6:30 at night. You've been, you've had a lot of things, editing, all this stuff, but we're not going to make this a habit. So, come tomorrow, even though it's Sunday, push yourself to work out. Monday,
Yeah.
you better fucking work out,
On
so
that
these are the
subject,
things.
right?
Yeah.
So on in this again, this is a great segue into what I was just inspired by. Um, on the it's up to you.
Yeah.
Absolutely true. And the other part with that community thing, and this is why, okay, so I'm getting to test how good of a jujitsu salesman I am the other day when I'm at lunch with my buddy Timmy and Sean, who both climb at ROKC. Shout out Timmy and Sean. Guys are absolute animals. And we were talking about the funny lingo and the personalities in climbing and in jujitsu. And one of the reasons, it's twofold for me, why I have found jujitsu and why I stay. And I'm going to get to your point of it's up to you, right? Number one, when I go into the mats, that's who I really am, right? So there is this stripping of pride. It is up to me. I need to show up. I know that when I go, I am going to be with other guys, ladies. Sometimes they have the ladies class, and for me, I roll with dudes, right? Like that's my thing. I want to roll with guys to test my might, all that stuff. But
Mhm.
we're gonna talk about some funny stuff. We're gonna disagree on certain things, but everybody can have fun while we're there.
Right.
So I love the community. I love who I meet when I show up to jujitsu. And on the individual piece, I feel a great amount of duty to those people, like to show up. Like, I don't know if you've been there, but for me, when I first started jujitsu, especially with injuries, like I would show up 1 week, I'd be there that day, and then I'd go two weeks, and I'd come back. And after a while, the guys in the tribe are like, they're not going to be as committed to you because you're the guy, you're the white belt or whoever who just shows up whenever they feel like it. And there's no snow, and you know, you have this sort of like, if I'm going to be a part of this group, I need to come and I need to show up and I need to put out effort too. So there's this like duty in being in the tribe too, right? And it's like that with relationships as well, but there is this great balance, this yin and yang of like having that personal responsibility. And it comes down to as well, like, can I even keep a promise to myself, let alone my wife, my kids, my coworkers, all that. But like the body will respond to that too. Am I gonna wake up, am I gonna get jujitsu in this week or not? Am I gonna get to the gym or not? Can I keep that promise to myself? Yes, life happens, and I'm not putting any shame on you for this week missing a workout, dude. Like, I know next week too, with the weather and with my work commitments, I'm not going to be able to train in the morning on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'm having to game plan. All right, when am I going to get jujitsu in? And I have to have grace for myself too. So I kind of went into a tangent on the whole grace thing, but like whatever somebody picks, usually the reason why they stay is because they like the people they find when they're there, and it's something that they're able to consistently hold themselves accountable for. You know?
Right. No, yeah, yeah. Um, I would say though, just to kind of go back and rewind to what you said,
Yeah.
just for the ladies of jujitsu, because a lot of the times they may have like everyone, always pick whoever you want to roll with. If you don't feel comfortable, that's fine. But you'd be surprised what you can learn when you roll with a girl because you don't you're not going to use strength unless you're an asshole, and you want to just throw some girl around. That's messed up. And I wouldn't advise that. But like they roll different, you know what I mean? And you can learn a lot. Like you'll focus in more because when you got two guys going at it, like unless you guys have been like rolling for a while and you guys know each other very well, a lot of the times it gets competitive. So you're just wanting to like just go, you know what I mean? And you know, when you have that chick that comes up, it's like, hey, can you have a sec to roll? You know, and you do, it's like, I don't know, you can learn a lot, man. You know what I mean? Like
I
you
remember
slow
you and
down, you
Jose
see
talking
stuff.
about that. That
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah,
really
like you,
insightful. You and Jose were talking about that, and I
yeah.
I can't disagree with you, you
Yeah,
know?
no, for sure. And but no, yeah, so you know, just to recommend that, because I know a lot of times, you know, like, you know, you'll talk to ladies at the gym and sometimes it's, you know, difficult to for them to find people to roll with. One, there's not very many
Absolutely.
chicks, which I wish more chicks would roll, you know, like you don't have, you don't have to go against guys you don't want to go against. Um, if anybody's being weird, you can tell the coach. Like
Yep.
they
The
do not
mat
tolerate that
enforcer.
shit at all. Yeah, yeah, dude.
No,
Guys will fuck that dude up if they find out about that.
and he'll
Um,
never come back again.
no. Well, they'll make sure that he gets fucked up, and then he won't come back again. Um, and then so like, and it's a great cardio. Like, dude, oh my gosh, the amount of weight you can lose. I mean, if you want to tone up as a chick, go do jujitsu. I get it. You don't like sweat, blah, blah, blah. You'll get over it. It's really not a big fucking deal. You can shower afterwards. Totally not a big deal. You can just roll with ladies, find a gym. Like you said, they have girls classes and stuff like that. That on at Alive on Sundays, there's like 5 girls that come in there all the time and they train with one another. And they train with the
That's
guys too.
awesome.
Yeah. So like, you know, me having 2 daughters, you know, I've tried getting my oldest into it. She didn't like it. I tried at 10 years old. But you know, she could come around when she gets older, you know, hopefully after a long time of seeing her dad and, you know, how much it's helped him and you know, seeing, you know, being around it, you know, she may want to come back and when she does, you know, or my youngest, I have a big feeling she's going to want to do it. My youngest is, she's a scrapper. So
It's
it's like
awesome.
when they get older, I want there to be a bunch of girls into the sport and to be able to not only defend themselves and benefit health wise and it, just because it's fun, man. You know, it's a fun it's a fun hobby. It's a fun you can meet a lot of people and have a community and you can let out a lot of the stressors from the world and from life,
Yeah.
exerting that energy through grappling. It's real and the only way you're going to find out it being real is to try it. So
Yeah, my daughters, man. You know, I'm gonna get my oldest in. She's gonna start in March, and she did a trial class before, and just what we've learned about her. She's such a fit for individual sports, very similar to Joe Rogan's opinion about like the thing that sucks about team sports is you're relying on everybody else, but in jujitsu, it's yourself. And just the
just you.
calm, I think, in jujitsu, like I think it's going to be good for her. And but with them, they have said this to me. They are now I can't change my daughter's opinions on this, man, but they've seen some UFC fights, and some people are like really kind of weirded out about that. Like, oh, you got a 6-year-old you let watch that? I'm like, yeah, you're damn right I do. You're damn right I
Hell
do.
yeah.
She's not watching Taylor Swift concerts. She's watching Mackenzie Dern. She's watching
Hell yeah.
Yana Santos, that fight when
Hmm.
she went against that girl who didn't make weight. And she said, yeah,
Yeah.
let's go anyway. It's so disrespectful, right?
Thug
And then
Rose.
what's that?
I said Thug Rose.
Yeah, I
The
think
lady with
so.
the shaved head. No, I was
Uh,
saying the lady with the shaved head. Like that
yeah,
girl's a
or like she had
badass, man.
half of her head shaved, and how Yana just fought, and how she's a she's a mother of two or whatever.
Yeah.
And they tell me, they go, Daddy, the boys, the girls can fight so much better than the boys. And I'm like, you know what, sweetie? And this was the Jake Paul. This happened with the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. There was the Puerto Rican gal. I can't remember her name, but
Oh yeah, I
she
remember that. Yeah.
she had her eye busted open and she's bleeding all over the place. And she wins the
Yeah.
fight. And then she was going against that shit talker one who was really good too. It started there. They said, then they watched Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, which obviously was a stupid fight. But they're like, the
Hmm.
girls are so much fiercer than the guys. And I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to defend I'm not going to go the other way. I'm like, yep, you're right, because there's something about women putting it all out there in the octagon or in the boxing ring. Medusa, I haven't that's the one Eddie Bravo started, the combat jiu-jitsu. It's Medusa. It's only women, I guess.
Really?
That
I
stuff
didn't
is
even know that.
ferocious, dude. They are
I knew about
ferocious.
combat. I knew about combat jiu-jitsu, but I didn't know he had just a women's only called Medusa.
I thought, yeah, I think it might be his thing, or he might have started it, or he sponsored it, but it's called Medusa. And man,
Okay.
I'm getting reminded of so many accounts that I've fallen off with. But yeah,
Hmm.
man, young ladies, it's so important. And that's what I hope too, man. I hope with the more exposure and,
Hmm.
Fionn Davies is another one too. We've watched some of her matches, and Helena Cravar, she's
Yeah.
19. She started at 9, and she's just killing everybody.
Yeah.
But brother, we've had a really good conversation. What do you want to sign us off with, man? This is something I'm testing for this year. Just have our guests kind of sign us off, and whatever we didn't talk about, we're going to cover next time too. By the way, but just wanted to kind of
Yeah.
ask you, what do you want to close on, man?
Uh, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not much of a, you know me, I'm not much of a like, being able to beautifully articulate the, an ending to a podcast. But I don't know, with everything I've been seeing right now, and kind of all the stuff that's happening in the world, I wish people would pull away from their groups and kind of do some, um, you know, I guess more thinking on what they're doing, and maybe a little more research and maybe a little more understanding, and just stop the fighting. It's driving me nuts. It's crazy to see all these people split between one another, family, friends, stuff like that. I hope people come together more, but it's not looking too good. I mean, sometimes I try to remind myself that the internet's not reality, so it's not as bad as you think. But sometimes I wrestle with that. It's hard. It's hard to see, you know, because I'm only going to be able to compare it to what I see throughout my life in my day to day, which is a lot better than what the internet shows. So um, that I hope everybody's been enjoying the podcast. I hope more people start to engage. Um, you know, I'm not like a guy that's like, you have to support local. I'm not going to be that guy. And I'm not going to sit here and whine about people not supporting, or, not enough people being engaged. You don't have to if you don't want to. That's fine. But give it a chance. You may like it. Throw on an episode, throw it on the background while you're working on your car, or you're cleaning, or you're working out, or whatever it may be, you're driving to work. Um, you might you might enjoy it. These blue check marks we always discuss, um, that have this
Yeah.
powerful gravity to them, to people. Start to take a step back and look at what really binds you to that person. What really do you have similarities? Is there any? Do they even understand what you're going through? Have they ever even been to a grocery store and actually had to buy grocery? Like, and on this show, you've seen I could be that guy. I could go, and I've met a lot of people that have connections, with these blue check marks, and I could be actively seeking that out, actively seeking these awards, and oh, I want to be the best
Yeah.
podcast and all this stuff. And it's like, to
Oh,
me, that doesn't matter. It's the fact of, I want to show real conversations. Like, I know they may not come up as beautiful, and being able to sit there and listen to a Jordan Peterson type figure ramble on and sound very educated and very methodical. But these are real conversations. These are real people that you would sit next to at a bar or at a restaurant and overhear a conversation and start to engage. You can learn a lot. It could bring the community closer, and you have a spot here. I've rarely denied people on the show. And if I haven't had you on, it's not because I'm denying you because I'm worried of the conversation, or I'm worried of how people are going to view it. I just can't find much that we are going to discuss. It's not
yeah.
I can find it in a lot of people. But if you just come at me and you're like, hey, I want to sell my new mixtape, I want to be on your show. It's like, okay, well, if you're coming at me straight just like that, how am I supposed to even know? You know what I mean? Like, am I
Yeah,
supposed to
there's
dig?
no
Like,
value proposition for you, and
yeah,
there
it
has to
sounds
be
like,
some sort of
yeah,
value proposition. Yeah,
it sounds like more of you kind of just want to come on here to, sell something or, get some sort of quick media exposure. So in that, it's just, it's reach out, engage, listen to shows like mine, like yours, like, the rest of them, Ozone Layer, Ice 70, all these great shows, man, that offer completely different content from one another. And you'd be surprised. Rick one time seen a lady that came on my show and knew her and
Rick
knew her
Martinez from
son.
Ozone Layer,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Dennis, a great guy, too over
Dennis
there.
Ortiz.
Yeah, those guys
Yep,
are both great together. And but it's cool. So you'll start to see this world, this universe being built around
beautiful thing,
normal
man.
people going through normal problems and normal everyday life. And it's just cool, man. It's just neat. And
Yeah,
I get it. Other people want to listen to the blue check marks as kind of a getaway. But why try to get away rather than throwing yourself into your community and helping that so you don't feel like you have to get away. You guys can start banding together to make true change. So
absolutely.
that's kind of what I'll leave it with. I appreciate
Love it.
everybody. I appreciate you, Michael, for having me on the show. Hopefully, like you said, we can do this again. And then yeah, man, to everybody out there, just uh love more, be at peace more, and just listen. So,
I appreciate you, Gabriel. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll do it again in March. Does that sound
all
good?
right.
You want to
Yep,
just a couple
sounds good.
months? All right, man. Well, hey, everybody, I so appreciate you coming back to KCBC here in 2026. Stay tuned because we've got another episode dropping right after this one. And we've got our weekends booked. So lots of cool people, lots of first timers and familiar faces coming up in the future. Thanks, everybody.